How we doing today? Matt here, Holub Project. Say, anybody curious as to what it takes to take a power steering pump off of a 4200 in a GMC Envoy / Trailblazer? I am too. Never done it before. We're about to. So, if you're interested in this episode, stick around. Okay, so here we are. We've got our test subject here. It's a 2008 GMC Envoy built in with a tool tray. And we're going to try and take this leaking, dripping, sobbing power steering pump off of here. And I think we'll go ahead and start by removing the air box. So let's go ahead and get our 5/16 out. And we'll just start with undoing hose clamps. And then we'll pull the air box off and see what we end up with. First thing I need to do is pull the mass airflow sensor wire off here, and that's just a simple pinch and pull. Then we've got this is kind of PCV system-esque here. Pop that off there, smear your knuckle into your dipstick there. Okay, now, what else we got? I've got two 10 millimeters that hold down my air box. This thing is one of them fancy doodads that probably didn't need, but I had a few dollars sitting around back in the years of yesterday. I don't even know how long this thing's been on here. I bought this truck when it was relatively new. I think it has 280,000 miles on it now or something. Take the lid off. Switch back over to our 5/16. Take our hose clamp and air filter. That thing could use a cleaning. Okay, we're starting to be able to see our power steering pump a little bit better. What else can we take out of here? Could probably take our washer fluid tank out. Let's do it. It doesn't look too difficult. I'll holler out the tools and you go get them. This is just a washer fluid connector here. Undo that. Undo this one over here. That one just lifts up and pulls. This one over here. So let's see, we had the green one to the left, the blue one to the middle, and then the big funky one to the right. Funky Comedina. And then we'll, looks like we got like a 14 or 15 millimeter nut over here. We got one down here, and then it may come on out of there, so let's do it. Oh, let's see. 9/16. Oh, it's smaller. That's a 13, folks. In my case, it's a 13 disguised as a half. Now let's do it right. There we go. This thing looks a little corroded, so yeah, that feels good. Feels good, feels right. It's Saturday night. Okay. Get our nut. Get our other nut. Put her down in there. Will she lift on out? Oh, yeah. Then we've got all of our, looks like we've got our feed lines for the washer fluid to travel where it needs to travel also to undo. We'll undo these little wire clips. Okay. Looks like we got a low washer fluid sensor down below too. Don't forget him. And these things looks like they just, what kind of connectors are these? Push and squeeze and pull connectors? I reckon so. Looks like you just push up on the bottom till the horseshoe lifts and then pull her on out of there. So, and then we've got two other types of connectors on the bottom too that are just your standard elbows. I'll let you see them when I get them undone. Look at that oily mess underneath of there. Gross. All that power steering fluid slinging from over the years. I'm gonna try and save that washer fluid. I think we'll take some dirt and grime and grease remover and wash down in here, wash on there, and then we'll work a little bit more after that. Okay, I don't even know where we left off here. We were cleaning. Let's see, we got a couple of bolts there in the front, 1 and 2, and then we'll just go through the holes in the power steering pump to get those. In true GM fashion, there's probably one behind. I am not 100% on that. We've got our low pressure return feed hose there. We've got our high pressure feed there. And that should be about it. Then we should just be able to roll this pump on out of here. I can't see any other real huge issues other than the pump's full of fluid, and you know, we'll make a mess, but we can always clean that up. So let's just keep on after it, I suppose. We did get that cleaned up quite a bit. Took a lot of degreaser, but we got her. Too big. Too buku. There we go. Now we're making a heck of a mess now. Got ourselves a little 5/8 action here. Or your metric equivalent, obviously. Which I think is a 16. This is for your high pressure hose. I should mention, guys, you can always look at your new pump that you're putting on to figure out where the bolts are to take out. It's always a good way to do it if you're super duper unsure. Super duper. Well, that's not a 10. Size are we? Okay, 13 millimeter. One there. One down yonder. Good thing I got that grease off of there. Good Lord, would have never gotten them off. Can't get the socket around the head with all that grease. One, two. Is there a third one? There is a third one. Third one down below. And there she is. That wasn't too painful. Okay. Now we'll plug our hole on the bottom here and lift her on out. Now I ended up losing one of those bolts down there. I'll have to be sure to find that, but these two, about that size right there. Third one down below shouldn't be too terribly difficult since most of the engine's tore apart at this point. So there we go. Now all I got to do is wait for the new parts to come. All right, folks, here we go. Now we have to go ahead and take our pulley off of this power steering pump and the reservoir because I bought the pump only. So let's walk through this. First thing we're going to do is get our power steering remover and installer kit tool. And then we've got the shaft. There's a ball bearing on the inside. This goes something like this. And then you're going to have to run it in. And it may take a little ways here. Then you've got your grabber side. Wrap that around. Still got to go in quite a ways here. Okay. Get her set up like that. This one is the same way. Lock her in. Then you use your hose clamp. We'll take and put that around here. Then we'll snug that hose clamp down. The reason why we're using the hose clamp is that normal collar that would come with this thing is just a bendy turd. So we just improvise. These hose clamps are pretty strong in their own right. So we'll go ahead with it. Snug that bad boy down. Now we're all set. Okay, here we go. We'll get our tools out here. So we'll need, I don't remember if this is a 5/8. Yeah, 16 millimeter there. And then we need our, and you could use a wrench, but I'm just going to use this crescent here. Has a little bit more leverage on it. And once you get these things popped off, there isn't really anything that holds them except for friction. The hardest part is just getting it to pop. Here she comes. Just like that. Nice and easy. Now, if you want to make a note to yourself that this is the top or whatever, lost that ball bearing, you can certainly do that at this time, because putting it on backwards is you can do it, and it'll make you very irritated because you can't get it back off without destroying it. So I'm going to go ahead and mark it, except for I'll probably mark the back side maybe, because I want to clean this up. Put a little purple power on it here. Let that soak. And while that soaks, we have to separate the pump from the reservoir. It looks like we've got a clip here. Okay, so a clip on the top and one on the bottom. It looks like we can slide a screwdriver in and lift those tabs up. One clip, that's for the bottom. This top clip will do the same way. This one's a little bit more difficult to get at here. Okay, apologize about the break in the action there. We had a memory card get full. Glove up here. This thing's nasty. Okay, I got my pump pulley cleaned up, I believe, and we've got our clips here. So this clip here that has the whoop-de-doo down at the bottom and is flat across the top. You can see they're different. They face different directions. This one is on the top of the pump reservoir. This one down here with the more flat is at the bottom. So we'll just slide the pump reservoir off here. And it just pulls off. Then we're left with this plastic tube on the inside. The little foot goes towards the pump. Looks to be all that's there. Looks like there was a rubber seal that pulled out with it that I missed. Okay, so then, we have to keep our reservoir, so we need to get that cleaned up if you choose. I mean, you're going to all the problem putting a brand new pump on, you may as well clean up your power steering pump reservoir. So I'm going to toss that in the ultrasonic cleaner. Let the heat do its work. Won't turn that on right now because that is just a noisy beast. And now we can go get our new power steering pump out of the box. New power steering pump. Looks like it comes with directions and a couple of new seals. That's a wonderful thing. New pump looks nice. Do not void your warranty. Always flush the system. We'll make sure to do that. Got our two pump plugs. This is high pressure feed. This is your inlet for your reservoir, and then the reservoir has the low pressure on it. Let's see what we got here. Get our two O-rings out here. Then we've got attention. Due to differences in original equipment options, it may be necessary to transfer the following components if equipped. Fitting, valve, inlet tube, reservoir, actuator, etc. Okay. Now, this foot went down in here like so. Then we got this big O-ring which goes right in here, because that was for the pump reservoir. And this one is for your high pressure line fitting. So, yeah, looking pretty good. Okay, here we go. We've got our reservoir all washed up. Turned out good. Then we'll put our foot in first in the pump. And then we'll use a little let's get ourselves a little sealant, or not sealant, but lubrication for this O-ring here. I put a little transmission assembly gel on there. Could use power steering fluid, I'm sure. I haven't gotten any yet today, so that's where we're at there. Now, this will all slide together. Like that. Everybody is happy. And then we've got our two clips. Remember this one here with the funny shape on the bottom? Remember they're opposites. This one goes on the top. And we'll just push her on through here. And everything's a hammer. Then we've got our bottom clip, and these things are just pushing on, and they're kind of tapered a little bit. So when they push on, they get tighter and tighter, and then the clip pops over the aluminum lip here, and then that's when you stop. There we go. Just like so. Brand and new. When we go over to the car, we'll take that orange plug out, but for the sake of cleanliness, we'll keep that just like it is there. Now we've got to put our pulley on correctly. The lip here goes to the top. Then we use our installer tool, which is here. And this has ball bearings in it. Thread that on down there till it stops. Okay, and then we'll hold this, rotate that, push the pulley on, and then we'll be ready to put it back on the truck. Almost there. We got to go until we're flush. I think that's it. There she is. There it is. Pulley's flat with the top. Everybody's happy. Okay, let's take her over to the vehicle and get her done. Let's go ahead and slide it on in there. And then we can take our 3 bolts and slide them in through the hole in the power steering pump pulley. And once we kind of get one in there, we're kind of home free. And then the third one is down at the bottom. So it's kind of like 12 o'clock position, 3 o'clock, 6 o'clock. Then we'll take our 13 millimeter and just get them started. If you feel anything funny, stop immediately. And then we'll go back and tighten them by hand. Okay, wow, nice. And of course, remember that we're going to take the power steering hose, put it on the bottom, right back here. And then we've got our high pressure line down here that we still have our cap on. We can go ahead and take that cap out now. Okay, little cap. Then the hose for the bottom, which I said we were going to take a hose, change the hose clamp on this, so I think we're going to go ahead and do that right now. All right, there we are. Power steering pump is on. And now the only thing left to do is put the washer tank in, your air filter, and your mass airflow sensor tube like we had done in the beginning of the video. So let me go ahead and wrap that up. We'll fill that thing full of power steering fluid, and I'll be back at you. All right, folks, there she is, all put back together. Power steering pump on a 4200 GMC Envoy / Trailblazer. Final look at her. Wasn't that bad of a job. I mean, this mess, as soon as you get that out of there, everything else is easy. I hope you guys enjoyed that. I hope some of it helped you. Maybe it was just for strictly entertainment purposes. Hard to say. Anyway, we'll catch you next week. Have yourselves a lovely day. Thank you.